Alright, you delightful human beings, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Christina, aka ThatVarietyNerd, and today we've got quite a long renovation video. We have finally tackled, or about to tackle, the impossible house with the Spencer Kim Lewis family, and Jesus take the wheel, this was something else. In a grand total of time, this took me about three some odd hours, mainly with frequent breaks and, all that good stuff. But anyway, so if there's some jump cuts and all that kind of stuff, just bear with it. This was something else, to say the least. So instead of snacks, I recommend just getting a four-course dinner ready to go. I'm only joking. Just grab your lunch, which, because I normally upload these things at around noon Eastern Standard Time. But if you're over in the UK or Europe, well, it's probably dinner for you anyway, unless if you work third shift here in the States, which, I've been there. But even then, I feel like the third shifters, this would be more like, your breakfast time, probably, right? Right. Probably. Either way, we've got ourselves this near impossible house to renovate. Oh my god. This was something else. It was requested a little over a year ago for me to do, but oh my god, this house, like let's just say that like as somebody that doesn't drink, I almost needed to go over to the store and grab like some wine or something for this house because this so here's what happened. It took me a solid hour to get just the structure of the house together. We're talking about just the exterior of the house took about an hour. So there's that. The furnishings took like 2 hours, and I mainly used a lot of the items that were kind of like in the pre-built rooms, but I also made it my own at the same time. But this house, oh my god, this house was something else. I don't know how else to describe it, but yeah, literally, it took me an hour to rearrange the layout of this house, and oh my god, this house just. Y'all, this house needed so much help. There was no cohesive theme going on. There was just it needed so much help. It really did. So, here's what we end up doing. We're working on the exterior. We place in a pool. We figure out what the crap to do with all this furniture. We got rid of all the windows, all the doors. The first goal was to get a layout together and at least get the exterior together. That's what we did here. So we kept in the shape for the most part, except we didn't have the weird triangle things. What I don't know what was going on there, but we still had something going on. You know what I mean? Like we were still getting this layout put together, but we're trying to figure out some like color swatches and stuff like that. I kept it very neutral on the outside, but that's because there's a lot going on the inside. And you'll see it's very much like a happy medium of the family members, a little bit of traditional, a little bit of modern. It's the right amount of modern without being like crazy modern. So there you have it. So I don't know when this video is going to come out. I really don't. It might come out on a Saturday, Sunday. I don't know at this point. Only because like I have literally 7 wrestling videos to edit and upload. So yeah, that's a thing. And anyway, speaking of Sims, so the new expansion pack is coming out. I'm aiming for this to go out on like Sunday the 8th. So yeah, just, we needed a day off, that sort of thing. And by day off, I mean I needed today to put together this video. And so it's going to go out on Sunday because I think we all need a little bit of a breather, right? Right. I needed a break. I needed time to record videos ahead of time, that sort of thing. So you might be wondering, Christina, are you going to be covering Sims content? Well, here's the thing. So I'm going to do my best to at least do a lot of recording in terms of renovations and stuff like that. So that's going to be my goal, I think, because I try to knock those out, and then we do a small, we do a bit of a small Let's Play, and that's pretty much the meat and potatoes of it. We haven't done a Let's Play in a little while, at least since we finished our Moving On Up challenge 6 months ago, which is kind of wild to think about. That's how long it's been since we finished that challenge. But I do want to have some kind of a Let's Play component to it because I really think this is going to be a really cool pack, just in general. But we're going to at least get to renovations potentially and do all that kind of stuff because that's how I roll. And it depends. Like some of the lots from what I've seen look pretty cool from the early access videos that I've seen, but I really think that you know what? Let's just go buck wild on Mount Komorebi, I think it's what we're calling it. So yeah, this house took me God knows how long to get. It took me it took me 3 hours to get through. This house needed help. That is all I will say. This house really needed help. There was no flow to it either. Like it made no sense to me. So what I end up doing is having two bedrooms on each floor, and each room has their own bathroom. So that's quite nice. So I was being quite generous about that. We got rid of that. So this one made no sense to me either. So why did that second room like only have half the floor being used and then the top floor? So basically, we got rid of like half the top floor, and you'll see this coming up soon, I think. But basically, what we do is that this part of the video, we kind of are focusing on more of the exterior and just trying to sort out the windows and all that stuff. That's what we were mainly focusing in on here. So, yeah, and also I decided to take a little bit of a little bit of a break from recording also because my mom's visiting this week. So that's exciting, and I'm just excited that she's here and we're reunited after the year that Lord Voldemort struck, to say the least. That's what we're calling the thing that we cannot name here on the platform. The whole global health situation. That's the furthest that we can go, apparently. But anyway, so yeah. Anyway, that's exciting, and that sort of thing. We also include this little like living space on the rooftop. I didn't really like, well, not like the not the rooftop, but what you can do, and I didn't think of this until just now, you could have a ladder that goes to the top floor and have like this crazy party space if you want to. But yeah, this lot was something else, dudes. This was something else. Now I'm understanding why not too many people have attempted to renovate this house. Like, I think that's why we're calling it the impossible house or the impossible renovation. Because this house was impossible, my dudes. This was impossible. But I think we did it, and I think we did it in a way that made sense. So, you can flip it around however you want. But essentially, each floor has two baths, two bedrooms. There's also, like, a big living space. There's a dining area. There's a, cozy little living space. There's also little, like, reading nooks, too, like little chairs and stuff like that. And in the two bedrooms at least that have the space for them, like, along the front side of the house. And plus, it makes it look a little bit more, like, just cozy from the outside. I don't know if that's even the word I want to use. But yeah, I have quite enjoyed it, to say the least. So, that being said, this was a whole situation here to kind of unpack. So yeah, I made four bedrooms here. There's two of double beds, two of singles beds. At least one of them's kind of more like a kid's teen room or something like that. I don't have really any toddler rooms because I didn't see any toddlers in the Spencer Kim Lewis family. But I think there's one married couple at least. I don't remember. I know there's five people in the house and two of them are like together. So that's where we got four bedrooms from. So there's also a bathroom in the downstairs area. And we turned that like in-law suite pretty much into like a greenhouse pretty much. So that's kind of what we end up doing there. We also have a little garden outside. I spent way too much time on this garden on the exterior, but here we are. And oh my god, we're only like a fourth of the way through this. So yeah, just grab your lunch, people, or your dinner, or your meals. I don't know how else to word it. If you're on the West Coast, it's probably your breakfast. So yeah. Anyway, this was something else, people. This house was something else. I sound defeated just recording this, but it's true. I was very much defeated. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about when we were getting rid of that weird third floor thing. And I know that, Christina, you got rid of so much space. Well, no, like, we were making it, like, better. You know what I mean? Because it made no sense to me. Like, why cut off half the floor on the second floor for an awning if you're not going to cut away the rest of the floor? I don't know. So you have a little bit of a lofty kind of feel to it. And so that's what we did here. And you'll sort of see me doing this right about here. So that way there's much more room. It's like much more room. There's so much more room here. But yeah, no, this was the house from H double hockey stick. So that's how we were going with it. I wanted to keep it kind of similar to the exterior of what the original was, but I wanted it to be just, you know, the layout have some shred of sense to it. I don't know how else to word it. This house was a disaster to renovate. Oh my god. Like, I keep ranting about how much of a disaster it was. Also, let me know if you're having problems with this as well, where nothing will delete. You know what I mean? Like if you go to delete things, or like, you accidentally delete something off of a wall and then it just all pops into your inventory instead of just getting sold. Yeah, also, with The Sims 4 Snowy Escape coming out this week, we do get that base game update with the platforms coming up soon, which I'm really excited about. So I'm excited to play around with that a little bit. We might do some of that with our renovations. It's going to depend ultimately, but I'm really excited. I'm just excited as crap about this expansion pack. Y'all, I have not been this excited for a Sims pack in like literally all year, I think. I think since Tiny Living, which was like back in January. And even then, that was announced at the end of last year, I think, right? Anyway, it seems like they're going on like two stuff packs, a game pack, and two expansions a year, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I really am. It's a decent little timeline. I would like to see one more game pack out per year, but that's just me personally, just preferring the cheaper packs. But no, I'm excited. I feel like the role should have been kind of flip-flopped almost, where you know what I mean? I'm trying to think. No, not flip-flopped. But like, if you really think about it, we could have gotten this really cool like space theme pack, almost like, how in The Sims 3 there was like Into the Future? I feel like they could have went for something like that and maybe mixed it in with some like, more scientific-y things, like maybe interactive sort of career or something like that. I feel like they could have went all out on that whole theme of like just nerdiness, like kind of a nerd pack almost. But I wouldn't say it's a nerd pack, like maybe a pop culture expansion pack where it's like, kind of like almost like a Get Famous Part 2, but except you have like extensions off of the engineering careers, like maybe adding more engineering paths to it or adding more technology fields and stuff like that. I feel like you could have went all out on like just one big tech pack or something like that to encompass, the eco lifestyle stuff that we got where you make a lot of things. But also include some futuristic gameplay too, or even like some space themed stuff, right? Like because it wouldn't ruin the rest of the canon of the world. Like if you reach to a certain career, maybe as an astronaut, maybe that could be it. That way it ties into the base game a little bit, so people don't feel like they have to buy another pack in order for this thing to work, right? So I don't know. Like you could have had it as like an option, as a bit of a potential destination world. I'm also really excited at the idea of getting like the rental lot situation together because Lord knows we're going to need that. Yeah, I'm excited about that one because that way I get to create more rental properties in general. Like, how cool would it be to, like, if you're thinking about, like, a New Crest type of thing, like having a whole vacation-y mixture of, like, a vacation and, residential area, like like a Myrtle Beach type of situation or something, or like a Florida situation. I mean, if we're being real. But yeah, no, I think that would be really cool to have in there. Maybe throw in a couple of like apartments for the college students or something like that. Have a good little mixture of things. Because I mean, that was sort of my lifestyle back in grad school. Because I mean, I went, University of Kentucky. That's what people think of like when you think of like a college town, or even like an Athens, Georgia, or an Athens, Ohio. You have your core residents that live there all year round, but then you also got a number of hotels and stuff like that and rental properties through Airbnb because it's a cultural thing. You know what I mean? You got people coming in like alums and parents and stuff like that. They're going to need somewhere to stay. And then you've got the college kids that kind of fluctuate in and out too. So I think adding that rental property aspect of it is going to make it a little bit more interesting as well. So yeah, I kind of thought about that. Like we could do a second Build Newport series because the first time around I did just, I built a college town. That was kind of what happened. And I used pretty much a lot of the different packs. But I think now that we have the rental property thing in there, I'm thinking like let's create like a proper vacation town or something like that, like a proper coastal town. I don't know how else to really describe it other than that. Like that's all I can kind of think about is like how is this rental system going to work or the rental lots? Because that's what I think it sounds like that we're getting, right? Like unless if I've just heard things wrong and I just rambled and I apologize, but I'm just thinking of all the untapped gameplay potential and build potential that we could have based off of this. So let's see what we got here. Rental lots Sims 4. There we go. I feel like this is definitely gonna, it's like a rental or a vacation lot. There we go. There we go. Okay, so it says right here, new Sims 4 update will add vacation lots to all worlds. Sims will finally be able to have a holiday in any world they wish thanks to a free update coming on in the Sims base game. So imagine like even like in Willow Creek or, literally anywhere, you could have like hotels in San Myshuno now or, a rental lot or two. Because Jesus Christ, like, come on now. Like some of those apartments, like wouldn't that be cool? You know what I mean? Like Trendy Tower is a whole rental lot. I don't know. Like maybe that's just me thinking outside the box. Like imagine just like one big spring break party house essentially. That'd be hilarious. But anyway, I think that would be I think it's gonna add just that little element of nuance to the neighborhoods because let's be real, The Sims can be very vanilla. It really can be. The Sims 4 anyway. Every other Sims game has just gone off the rails. But Sims 4, there's still that vanilla element to it, I guess. I don't know how else to really word it other than that, but yeah, so we finally got ourselves the exterior. We finally got ourselves the layout of this whole thing. I took a break right here. I'm pretty positive I did, but within good reason. We added in the lighting fixtures, and now this is about the time where we start to really sit down and furnish this place because that's what we needed. Yay! So, that being said, we finally just started to furnish this place. This also gives me time. This is the first lot that I actually got to use the Hispanic month, the Hispanic cultural stuff that got added in October, I think. I feel like that sounds about right. It just got added in within the last month or so. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. So what I did here was that I did a little half wall situation with the kitchen. So this back area is going to be like a breakfast table with a kitchen. This sort of area right in here is going to be kind of like a gardeny space, which is, why it feels a little bit more like gardeny. I don't know if that's even the word I want to use. This little garden space out here to the outside, right next to this little space that I'm at right now, you can use it as like a nice little patio, like a reading area, or just like somewhere where your elder Sims can really, you know, just sit outside even. It'd be a nice little sitting space for your Sims in general, but I wanted there to be a little bit of a modern feel to it at the same time. Just so that way, because it's like, I feel like there was a modern vibe going on with that first house, but you'll see that the bedrooms are actually kind of cozy. And, we want to make sure that, we have all the appliances that we need and all that stuff. So I took inspiration from that room and I kind of ran with it. I wanted there to be some modern spaces, but also the bedrooms needed to be cozy and quaint. And same thing with the rest of the house, to be completely honest. Like, I wanted it to be, like, modern, but I didn't want it to be, like, too modern. Like, I didn't want it to be all blacks and whites and all of that. I wanted it to be, like, the cozy modern. So, yeah, there you go, people. There you go. That's sort of what we were going for here. And yeah, I don't know how else to really describe it. I really don't know. So, yeah, I don't know, people. I do not know. But either way, I think this is just something else. But anyway, we got ourselves this very furnished place. We have the doors in there. We're finally getting, settled in with our windows situation and it feels much more open, but it also feels kind of cozy at the same time. And I feel like I found that balance here in this build. I'm really proud of it, and personally, I would totally play in this space. Like, except it has 3 floors. Y'all, I hate when it's 3 floors. I really do. But you know what? It's a renovation for a reason. So originally I was thinking of having the living space be right there, but it made a little bit more sense when I was putting it together to have it kind of pushed off to the side a little bit once I decided that the kitchen was going to be right there and all that stuff. But I wanted to keep, some aspects of it, like having half the walls right here be one color and then have the rest be like just plain white, like that sort of vibe we were going for. But it's also a little reading space. There's also your hobbies and stuff like that in here as well. So that's kind of what I went with here. And you'll see that it's kind of still kind of cozy, kind of modern a little bit. Your appliances are modern, but it's still pretty cozy. You got those like leathery couches. And I know it's like white and black and stuff like that, but it's not totally like, the sharp edges of modernness, right? So it's not like that cube lamp that we just have, right? So that's kind of what I was thinking there. Just something kind of cozy, where you get to watch some TV and relax a little bit. And then, of course, I put up some blinds, I believe, right here because you need some privacy when it's right next to the front door. I say is like, oh yeah, so I put these up here too because I put in some blinds right here, like, just to give a little bit of, just privacy. Not a whole ton, but just enough. And so I utilized those two chairs. They were the outdoors chairs, actually. And then I included, just something cozy right there. Because it's a nice little cozy little corner, I kind of envisioned just like a little reading area, like a sitting area. Maybe the couches are taken up, but you still want to watch the football game with your Sims or whatever. You just want to play your games, right? So that was sort of what I was thinking about when I was creating the space. And we have that in the other bedrooms as well. And yeah, that was kind of what I was going for here. Oh my god, we still got about 12 minutes left in this video. Again, this house was something. This house was certainly something, my friends. This was something else. I don't know how else to describe it. This was something else. But yeah, I don't know again when this video is going to come up. It's hopefully going to be out by the time that Snowy Escape comes out. That's kind of my goal anyway. So yeah, rest assured you'll get your renovation videos hopefully for Snowy Escape, just like we had for Eco Lifestyle. So you'll at least be guaranteed renovations and builds and all that stuff. Maybe not so much a let's play per se right now, but we'll get there. We'll get a let's play in because Snowy Escape, quite frankly, like we could all use it at this point. We've had a rough year. We need a little bit of joy with this Sims pack. Or at least that's what it feels like to me, because quite frankly, I'm excited. I haven't seen a whole lot of early access footage, just enough where like some of the builds are in there and that sort of thing. I've mainly been following this stuff through like Twitter, like just mainly images and stuff like that. So I haven't seen much in terms of the early access stuff, but I've seen enough through like social media, primarily Twitter, that sort of thing. But I'm really proud of this space. So I think you're wondering, Christina, why do you have this old timey wallpaper? Good question. So you have an elder sim that's in there, and she's much more traditional and that sort of thing. So my thinking was, let's have some traditional elements with this modern house, right? So that's what I was thinking when I was creating this dining space right over here. So I thought, okay, let's have some blues and blacks mixed in together with these dark hardwood floors. And then, of course, we'll make the other tables kind of like darker with like, bright chairs, that sort of thing. So it's not your traditional white, black, white, black, white, black. You got to add some splash of color in there. And I kind of felt like, maybe as your Sims kind of grow in that house, you could potentially see that, for renovation purposes, you could always get rid of the wallpaper and make it more modern. But I wanted it to be, I wanted there to show some sort of age to the house a little bit. Does that make any sense? Like, that's why we have those, like, cabinets and stuff like that. I think I put in a little bar area over here, too. So there's a lot for your Sims to do over here. That much I will say. But yeah, over here is where we're going to start off in the kitchen. We have two stoves this time around, which I never do in these houses. And so again, you'll see here that I start to play around with the windows a little bit again. And this was kind of the decision where I'm like, you know what, we need to get two stoves. This house is a house that needs two stoves. Because, I mean, there's like five, six, no, there's at least five Sims in this household. So I'm thinking, okay, there's got to be like two stoves in here, okay? That's where we're at. Refrigerator-wise, we'll manage, but the double stove situation seemed to be the move. We also have this really cool island right here, and there's all kinds of seating. You can get rid of the seating if that's not your vibe, but I wanted to go with some seating because it made sense. And you might as well show off your wealth if you it's like, all right, just show off the wealth here. I see what you're doing. But I think we have a good compromise with the window situation over here. You could still look out the window a little bit while you're cooking and that sort of thing. So that was what we were going for here. I wanted to try to do some kind of stove, like stone in the background or some sort of different backsplashes you can see. But to me, the blue just really blended everything together really well. And I think this wallpaper, this old-timey-ish wallpaper, it was really the cherry on top. It was kind of like that thing that we needed. We have the pergola outside. I think that's what it's called. So that way there's external seating over there. So like all the dining areas are kind of almost in like a triangle sort of situation. You have, your breakfast table out here. You could seat six people. You could have outdoor dining. You could have indoor dining. We've got options, and quite frankly, that's what we need. That's what we need for restaurants and food in 2020. That's where we're at. Oh my goodness gracious. But yeah, I really enjoyed how this turned out and just how this shaped quite well. And just, yeah, I really liked it. I really like how this turned out. And again, I think the wallpaper was the secret sauce that we needed. So yeah, once we get through with this kitchen, we don't spend a whole ton of time on the bathrooms and the bedrooms just because I was starting to get exhausted at this point. Like I was taking frequent breaks and everything like that. I'm like, God, I'm gonna be able to get through all my shows and get caught up at this point. But yeah, no, I really, really like how this house turned out, even with, everything going on here. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was sort of what I was thinking about. Just, in general. And yeah, I don't know how else to word it. This house was something else. I think, again, like, I took a little bit of a break here, but I think we sort of need it, just to kind of regroup before we go on to the rest of this house, because this house was something else. I don't know how else to describe it. I feel like I'm just kind of like saying the same thing over and over again and hoping that it sticks, but it's fine. And I would have edited this out, but you know what? We need a bit of a we need a break. So consider this your break time beforehand. So yeah, there's that. There is that. I think this is what we got back from our coffee break. I don't remember. But yeah, this was certainly something. I thought I got rid of this, but you know what? We're keeping this. We're keeping this in. Anyway around, we've got ourselves the upstairs areas and all that stuff. We were trying to find a wallpaper that kind of would match the rest of this house a little bit more, to make it not crazy or anything like that. So, yeah, I think we found a happy medium between that first level and then kind of making it a little bit more crisp on the other levels. So, I think we're getting there. We are really, really getting there with this house. So, that was sort of what I was going for. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're going with this house. So yeah, sorry about that. We're sort of just, trying to make it work around this bathroom. So again, I wanted to create some different patterns and colors with these bathrooms, which I know bathrooms are always fun to like include. I wanted to keep it simple and, bathrooms are kind of copy paste like that sort of thing. But I think we really like have this happy medium here. I finally found the matching like not, like not thick bottom wallpaper. I don't know how else to describe it other than that. So yeah, this house was just it was something else. I don't know how else to describe it. I really don't know how else to describe it. I feel like I'm kind of on like a record player at this point, but it's kind of true. But yeah, so we have this quaint like kid teen room, that type of thing. That was what we were kind of going for in this space. And yeah, this was a whole room. This was a whole mood. I don't know how else to describe it. But yeah, I don't know if we're going to actually go through with the photos or not, simply because this was already long enough as it is. So kind of bear with it. It's a good house, I promise. It has some good, like, it doesn't have good bones, but it's a good house. So that's kind of where things are going here. We're finishing up this house a little bit more. So I don't know when this video is going to be over with. I think it should be over within a couple minutes or something like that. But just in case if I decide to get rid of the photos, which is likely to be the case, thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, leave a like, leave a comment, do all that fun stuff here on the channel. We will be covering Snowy Escape in some shred of capacity, that sort of thing. So that's where we're going. And also make sure to frequently save your game because that is a thing. That is very much a thing. We were going to try to do some upstairs living space sort of things here, but, we didn't really get too far. So, kind of think of that as like, you're playing around sort of space where you can kind of wing it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, that was sort of, that's where we're going with, all right? That is exactly where we are going with. So, yeah, that was the exciting part of it. But we're almost done. We are finally the light is at the end of the tunnel at this point in the video. We're getting down to the final rooms. We're finally just trying to make things quaint, cozy, traditional, with modern. It was a whole experience to say the least. So, yeah, again, I do appreciate any and all support for the channel. It's growing and it is growing all the time. And, this started out as a hobby and it's still my hobby, but it's gotten way more than that. It's almost turning into its own little, community. And, that's the energy that I am here for. So, yeah, I do appreciate any and all support. And yeah, we're going to do some renovations in The Sims 4 Snowy Escape. We'll likely do a Let's Play as well. Because you know what? We might as well live our social lives vicariously at the rate things are going at with Lord Voldemort. Like, going around and all that stuff. So, yeah, I'm excited for y'all to see this house. It should be on the gallery, and if not, it will be uploaded at some point. Just go and yell at me. My, ID is just ThatVarietyNerd. So, that's kind of how things are going. But yeah, that is pretty much the meat and potatoes of this video. Again, apologies that this is really long, but you know what? This was a very massive house. So on that note, we're going to start wrapping this up here in just a moment. And yeah, so just give me a second and we'll just start to wrap things up here. So yeah, here we are. We have officially made it to the end of this house. So yeah, again, thank you all so much for tuning in. This was certainly an experience. I know that I normally provide photos, and we will. I just won't have a voiceover over it because I am quite freaking exhausted. So hopefully you all have enjoyed this. I sure have. This was a painful build to get through, but it was certainly worth it. So on that note, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you all around later. Bye, everyone.